Hi coaches, welcome to our coaches meeting for the fall season of volleyball. We really appreciate you guys stepping up and volunteering and coaching these kids so we can have a good season, and we can't do it without you, so appreciate you. Let's go over a few things to get you started for the season. The season is going to begin September 9th, 2022. That's a Friday. Games will be played Friday and Saturday. Season ends on October 15th, 2022. Payment due dates, August 31st, 2022. Please try to get those payments in by then so everybody can get their shirts on time for the season. Roster maximum. We're going to max out at 12 players, but if you want another kid to play on your team and the parent wants them on your team, you can contact us and we may contact you if we have other players. And if you want to take additional players, we can do that. We'll work that out as it comes. That's going to be totally up to the coach and to the parents, and we'll talk about it. We're going to give you 2 volleyballs at the beginning of the season for practice and games. Please make sure you get those turned in by October 22nd, so that way we can continue to provide good equipment and have enough for everyone in the following seasons. Coaches, once you get your rosters, please call every player that is assigned on your roster to let them know that they're on your team. Give them the plan for practice and for the coming season. Don't start the group me's or text messages until you have talked to them personally. Some things can get lost in communication, and we want to make sure those kids know that they have a team. And if you can't get hold of a parent for some reason or the other, please call us. We may have another way to get hold of those parents and help you out on getting the contact. The main thing is we communicate and make sure coach and parent have a good understanding of what team they're on and what the plan is for the season. Once the season is coming to an end, the medals will be available for you guys to pick up so you can pass them out to your kids for the last game. So they'll be available the week prior to the final games. All right, guys. Once again, we're going to give you guys 2 volleyballs for your season. You must wear your Kids Incorporated t-shirt during the games. We had a few kids that just kind of jumped on a team to play a couple of times last year. Those kids cannot play in a Kids Inc. game without having a waiver signed or anything. So make sure all your kids have their Kids Incorporated t-shirt. If they don't get it with the rest of the team at the beginning, make sure they come by and get it before they play in a game. No jewelry or hair accessories of any kind are permitted, with the exceptions of some plain bobby pins or some ties. Can't play with any cast on your hands, hard or plaster. That way we don't get someone else hurt or hurt themselves even more than they already are. And make sure, this is really important, we had some kids show up at games last year without them, and we don't want to stop a kid from playing. Knee pads are required for all the players, so make sure that every player has a set of knee pads on when they're on the court. The rules for playing time. All players must play in at least half the match. The serving area is going to be 15 feet inside the volleyball court line. The net height is 6 feet 6 inches, and each match is going to have 3 complete sets. They will not play 2 out of 3. Like if you win your first 2, you'll still play a third match. So make sure everyone gets their 3 game sets in the match. Each set will end after 15 minutes of play with their running clock. If you don't get to the end of the game stops at 15 minutes, and that will be the final score. Or, if it does reach 25 points, then that will end the set. Time limit for all 3 sets and for all matches is 60 minutes long. There'll be a 3-minute break between each set, and each team will be allowed 1 30-second timeout per set. That's the only time the clock will stop. The referee can use their discretion if there's an injured player or something, but other than that, that's the only time the clock will stop. Each team must have 6 players to be a legal game. Otherwise, the set will be a forfeit. Now, if we get in a situation where some coaches, there's just some emergencies and you have 5, we can, if both coaches agree and the referees agree, we can do 5-on-5. But other than that, let's try to have 6-on-6 at every game. Substitutions in the 2nd grade level will only be made at the center back position. So please stay in order. Substitution is really important. It's only going to be made at that center back. Each server will have 3 consecutive serves, regardless of whether the serve goes over the net or not. So they will have 3 shots at it. Players may either use the overhand or underhand serving method. And if the scoring's the same as any, if you are serving or not serving, if you're receiving or serving, you score the point if your side gets the point. Players in this level does not have to receive the serve with a forearm pass, but this technique should be taught. So a bump, you don't have to necessarily do it with the bump to get it back, but let's try to teach that. You'll have one referee per match, and each team must provide a linesman and a scorekeeper for each game. So be sure that you have some volunteers beforehand that will help us out. And they must be 18 years old for them to be able to do that. And the scorekeepers will sit together. Just make sure so we're on the same page as far as scoring. Once again, all sets will be played to 25 points or 15-minute time limit. You do not have to win by 2 points also, so that's important to remember. 25-24 will win you the game. All right, guys, and the game rules for 3rd and 4th grade. Now that you're moving up to 3rd grade from 2nd, you had a few different rules. So this year, a few things will change. Not a whole lot, but just a few. Still have to play half the match. All the kids must play at least half the match. The serving area for the 3rd grade league will be 15 feet inside the volleyball court line. So 15 feet inside the regular serving line. The serving area for the 4th grade league is 10 feet inside the volleyball court line. So there's a 5-foot difference between 3rd and 4th grade. The net height's still going to be 6 feet 6 inches, just like in 2nd grade. And each match will still consist of 3 complete sets. A server may not serve more than 3 consecutive successful serves. After 3 consecutive successful serves, the result is a side out, so the other team will then take over the serve. All right, all sets are going to be played to 25 points with a cap of 27 points. So if you must win by 2 points in 3rd and 4th grade, which is a little different from 2nd grade. So either the time's going to expire to end the set, my apologies, or you win by 2. All right, coaches, just like in the other grades, as you were younger, before you moved up to this grade, all players must play in at least half the match. The serving area is from the back line of the volleyball court, so it's the regular serving line, and every player should have the opportunity to serve during the match. The net height for the 5th grade league is 6'6", same as 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But the net height for 6th through 8th grade will now be 7 feet for you guys, so it's going to move up to 7 feet. Each match will consist of 3 complete sets. Teams will not play best 2 out of 3. You'll get 3 matches no matter what. Time limit for all sets is 15 minutes with a running clock. So remember, coaches, substitutions will be made on a position player basis only at the 10-foot line. I said it twice because we had a little bit of confusion of that last year. So let's make sure we're doing it that way, getting these kids ready for middle school if they're going to play, because that's exactly how they do it there. Here's an example. In each set, you may substitute a player for another player. The subbing players must substitute for the same players during that particular set. This applies to the 2nd and 3rd sets also. You may substitute any amount of players at once, but each subbing player must substitute for the same player each time in a particular set. If you have any questions like that, just give us a call. It can be confusing when you first start out on that. And no lineups are required. You do not have to turn in a lineup. Coaches, let's make sure that we're just being responsible with our players. You're responsible for their safety, for their physical well-being, their mental well-being. So let's make sure we're coaching them up, but make sure that we're not doing it in any type of way that's making the kids feel bad about themselves. Maintain adequate level of discipline on the court and at the games. Make sure that your parents, you are responsible for your parents, your fans, their reaction to referees, with the other teams, with everything. So you are responsible, so we really appreciate you helping us with that. And any assistant coach that you have working at practices or in games with the players directly, they have to have a background check. We had some coaches last year on the bench and at practices that didn't have their background check. So let's make sure we're all getting those filled out and on your roster so they'll be eligible to out there to coach and help you out. All right, and then remember there's a code of conduct with Kids Incorporated programs. No bad language, no drugs, no alcohol, anything like that, smoking at our gyms or anything. And remember, you have a right to question a call with an official, but let's make sure we're doing it in a respectful way, sportsmanlike way. We're not going to have any abuse of the officials or any back and forth with the other teams, any abuse with each other, talking to each other disrespectfully. If there is an issue with any type of thing pertaining to the games, just play the game, have a good day, and then call the next day. And if there's a rule question or something like that, we can discuss that later on, but let's not make any kind of scenes at the games. So we just definitely don't want to ever get to the point where we can't allow someone to coach or do anything or be at the games. So other than that, just make sure you have a good season. Communicate with your parents that you got everyone on the same page as far as what team they're on and where you're practicing and stuff. Any questions, please contact me or any of our staff here at Kids Inc. We're here to help you guys at all times. And please respect the gyms that we're using for AISD. They're kind enough to let us use them. Please always take care of our gyms. Also, pick up your trash. Really appreciate you, coaches. Have a great season.